The UK Supreme Court has ruled that the legal definition of a woman is based on biological sex. The landmark decision comes after a long-running legal battle between the Scottish Government and women's rights campaigners. The ruling could affect whether trans people are allowed in some female-only spaces. Well, in announcing the decision, the Deputy President of the Supreme Court, Lord Hodge, acknowledged the sensitivity of the debate.
The court is well aware of the strength of feeling on all sides which lies behind this appeal. On the one hand, women, who make up one half of our population, have campaigned for over 150 years to have equality with men and to combat discrimination based on their sex. That work still continues. On the other hand...
Well, there you go, right? So what did you think of that Supreme Court ruling?
I was actually quite surprised. I expected it to go against us. It feels as if everything has been so much against women, including the two-tier policing, within councils, within schools, within the courts, within the prisons, you know, just the government, Keir Starmer, unable to say what a woman is. They've been telling us, that Labour government have been telling us for years that there's no problem with the Equality Act and it didn't need clarifying. And yet, on the other hand, they couldn't explain why we had all these men in our prisons and in our changing rooms and in our, domestic abuse shelters and our sports. He couldn't explain any of that, given that he'd said that there wasn't a problem with the Equality Act. And now we've had the clarification. He just says, oh, well, it's a good thing. I absolutely welcome it. No apology, nothing at all. So I feel I'm obviously delighted about it. I don't think it's a job done. There's still plenty of organisations that are pushing back against it. I mean, I went out for a drink the other night and there was a bloke in there, cross-dresser, who made a point of going, the men's toilets were downstairs and he made a point of going all the way upstairs to use the women's toilets. The bar didn't say anything, so I've contacted the bar to let them know what the legal position is, but we're seeing this resistance, across the board. And obviously it doesn't remove the ideology from schools and things like that. So, and there's apparently a push kind of to get gender self-ID still implemented nationally through the back door in this bill, data, something to do with online data bill.
It's
which
digital
is
IDs, isn't it?
Digital ID, that's it, yeah. So I've written to my MP today. If people look on my councillor Facebook page, you can see like a model letter that you can adapt it if you want. And there's a little search in the link. There's a search facility so you can find your own MP's address. And we need to make as much noise about that as possible, because my feeling is everybody always thinks this is the end of the road, like we had with the CAS review, like we had with all of the different landmark court cases that we've had, Maya Forstater's court case even. This agenda is like a freight train. It just doesn't seem to want to ever stop, and it just keeps popping back up in a different guise.
My question is going to be, Mandy, okay, is there going to be any changes at Cheshire West and Chester?
Well, there has to be. Legally, there has to be. My guess is that they will do the bare minimum and they'll drag their heels about doing it, but I'm on the case, as
all right, so you're going to be raising it. Because
I brought a motion to this next full council meeting. I've submitted it. If sometimes they find spurious reasons not to allow things on the agenda, but assuming it goes on the agenda, I'll get at least 2 minutes to speak to it and explain why they need to get a shift on with it, really.
Well, because Farage has said
they're breaking the law. Yeah,
Farage has said, okay, that those people who are in any kind of jobs in any of the councils that reform is now controlling, better start looking for another job.